Okay, Shalom, Shalom. Kwam Yasa Allah, Koholoyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. Just want to say the water toward the H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Zachanan Awach. Just coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. Fair use, fair use. A little news clip I want to play. Just to show you the hypocrisy of America and these Edomites. When we say Edomites or Esau, we're talking about the biblical so-called white race. That's their biblical nationality. They're not white. They don't look like a glass of milk. They don't look like clouds in the sky. They don't look like snow. You know, they are actually pinkish to reddish in color, like the scripture describes Esau as being. And this is a wicked people. And matter of fact, the video that I'm about to show is actually these are the top two ethnicities of people in Psalms 83 that the Lord speaks of being his enemies. These are the enemies of the Lord. Number one on the list is Esau. If you read in Psalms chapter 83. Number two on the list is Ishmael, right? Now, this is in the area not too far down the street from me, which I'm in, actual Detroit. But, you go down a few miles, of course, it's the largest so-called Arab community in America, right? Now, I want to just play the video and just point out a few things in the hypocrisy of Esau, right? I'm going to point out a few things. I want you to pay attention. Check it out. Here we go. Now, matter of fact, it said it's un-American. Incoming Dearborn council member responds to record.
We want you out.
Any act of hate against one faith is an act of hate against all faiths.
Because I have more melanin than you. I don't. You live differently. I have melanin. No, you live differently.
Looked at me straight. He was like, "I'm not gonna shake hands with evil."
Clashes in Dearborn. Far-right activists making anti-Islamic statements, sparking confrontations. Dearborn's Muslim community responding by saying they tried to stay welcoming but ended up shouting down the hate. This is a city that's dealt with this type of situation in the past. How was it handled then, and how can it be handled now? Someone who knows all too well. Devin O'Reilly, the son of former Dearborn Mayor John O'Reilly. He joins us now in studio to talk about it. We should mention also you ran and successfully succeeded in your campaign to become a city council person, so you're Councilman-elect O'Reilly.
Yes, carrying on the tradition as well as I can.
That's awesome. Well, your dad had a tradition that was pretty special. I remember covering Terry Jones. He was a pastor that kind of like the people who came out the other day, came from across the country to stake his ground in Dearborn 15 years ago. And your father had a very clear message for him as he was trying to burn a Koran right there in Dearborn. Talk about that history.
Yes, I remember it well. He came here, incidentally enough, from Florida, as some of the folks from the other day did. And he came here to sow hate and division. And that's never been what we're about in Dearborn. We're an incredibly diverse community. And my dad said, and echoed the sentiment of a lot of Dearbornites, that hate has no place here. And coming here to incite hate and disparage another religion is just un-American. And for them to come here kind of waving American flags, it was the antithesis of that. And they weren't successful as far as I was concerned. They didn't end up burning the Quran, and they left embarrassed because they didn't find what they were looking for.
And that's Terry, the pastor that you're talking about from Florida, who is here in town again 15 years ago. History repeats itself. People say things like, "I've never seen things so divided as we are today." It's very clear that history has happened before. We've seen this movie before. What would you say is your...
Okay, well, we can get this nigga back on the back block. Well, hopefully ain't nobody get man down, goddammit, because the niggas is crazy right there. Looking right through the... anyway, Shalakia, man. That's a spirit, too. But anyway, that division that they're talking about, that's scriptural, right? And I want to, again, I'm going to go into this because... Let me just get the scripture real quick on that division real fast. Matthew 12 and 25. crazy. You just hear gunshots like that, and you just continue to sit and speak. That's just how used Jake is to just the bullshit. You know, just retarded, man. Can't wait till the kingdom come. Matthew 12:25, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Because really, in reality, you know, you got one side that's believing in Islam, or, you know, then you got the other side believing in sweet white baby Jesus, which is a damn idol. Both of them are idols. You know what I'm saying? It's both idol worship on both sides. But one thing they do have in common, like I said again in Psalms chapter 83, let me just get it to just show you that these are the enemies of the Lord. And one thing that they have in common is they come together as a confederate to keep you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans down. Mainly you so-called blacks in this particular area, I would say, you know, but mainly, you know, just overall the Israelites. That's who we biblically are. We are the Israelites. And this is Psalms 83. And I just want to kind of get to the point. Well, let me just start it from the top. I always have to. Psalms 83:1. A song or a psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies. So the Lord has enemies. And those enemies are the enemies of the children of Israel, which the Lord chose. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Now these are the people. These are these two groups of people and some more nations. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And this is what these nations have gotten together to do as a collective. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. Those are the very two the very two names on the list. Ishmael, which is the so-called, the people that's, you know, the one guy was talking about, you're mad because we got melanin, because Ishmael have melanin. You know, only people on the planet that don't have melanin is Esau. That's why, you know, his blood shows forth through his skin, you know, wasted away is he. Those are Edomites. That's who that is. You can go into the history. The word Edom goes into red. They're not white people. They're not, you know, running around looking like a glass of milk. So I wanted to just bring that out real quick, right? Because again, both of these
happened before. We've seen this
also a lot. Both of these
movie before.
Both of these are idolatrous religions. And these are, matter of fact, these are the main two religions in Deuteronomy chapter 28 that our people are caught up into. Wood and stone. Going into the wood. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. I'm just flowing in the spirit, so bear with me. Deuteronomy 28. I'm trying to think which one it is. Bear with me. I'm up a little too far. I think it's 36. Lucky, bear with me here. Might be wrong, but yep. Deuteronomy 28 and 36. This is a curse that's on us so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, us Israelites. Those two people's religions, those two people's false idolatrous religions, Ishmael and Esau. Those are the two main religions that we follow: white Jesus and Islam. As a people, that's got us shook. Deuteronomy 28 and 36. The Lord Yahweh, which is the true name of the Father, which means that he exists or the existing one, and the true name of his son is Yahweh Shai, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus. But there's no letter J in the Hebrew alphabet. Letter J was invented in 1524 by Grand Miriam named Giorgio Trissino. His name is Yahweh Shai, which means that he's the savior or deliverer in the Paleo-Hebrew. And we're not to serve these idols, man. But this is what the Lord said because of us being hard-headed, stiff-necked. And he put us under these curses, man, because that was a part of the contract. The Lord, Yahweh, shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. The main wood character within Christianity is the wooden cross. which that's something that we're not supposed to be worshiping, man. We're not supposed to be worshiping the crucifixion or that symbol. You know what I'm saying? That's idol worship to go along with white Jesus. The next one is the stone. What are those Ishmaelites and normally Islam? What are they into? The stone, kava stone, man. So it's ironic that here you go. You got the two main top enemies of the Lord standing around arguing about, you know what I'm saying, something that they normally would collectively be in on because this kingdom is falling. This is what's happening before our eyes.
Happened before. We've seen this movie before. What would you say is your dad's overarching lesson? Because he wrote an open letter to Terry, basically saying something very important, this message.
Well, my dad was someone who really just relied on the facts.
Yeah.
And I think the answer is to meet the hate with understanding and show people what Dearborn really is, to show off this incredibly diverse community. We're the fastest growing city in...
Okay, so now let me get you some history real quick, because he's talking about what Dearborn really is. Now, when you go to Dearborn, it's not really no so-called black people that live in Dearborn like that. It's scattered now, right now, you know what I'm saying? But let me get this real quick. Let me show you Dearborn. Now, this is going back. This is Mayor Orville Hubbard. I remember this history because they actually I think they still got a statue of this guy up in Dearborn. It says from 1942 to 1978, Dearborn was led by Mayor Orville Hubbard. Now, this is a so-called white man, an Edomite. So their city has been overran by Ishmael. So now they have an Edomite mayor. Their cops and police officers are Ishmaelites. They're Muslims. I see them. They even have Muslim women police officers with their damn headscarves on, man. I'm looking at this like for real, driving squad cars, pulling people over. This is their city now. They run that shit now. So it was taken from Esau, and this is why these so-called white people are running up in these cities. Like now New York, you got this mayor with New York, right? Right? So these Ishmaelites, starting to come up, and they're clashing against the Edomites. Okay, so it says 1942 to 1978. Now check out how they treated niggas, though. Dearborn was led by Mayor Orville Hubbard, who openly stated he wanted Dearborn to remain lily white. He worked aggressively to keep black families from moving into the city through blocking public housing, using zonings to keep neighborhoods segregated, discouraged realtors from selling to black families, police harassment of black people passing through. I can remember that. I had a job out there. This one, it's been some time now. But I can remember, man, like them motherfuckers used to pull me over regularly. Oh, shit. And then all of a sudden, Ishmael got a hold in there. They was already moving in, but see, they dealt with them over and wouldn't deal with so-called blacks, right? Now, mind you, the point that I want to make is so-called blacks, Hispanics, right? Generally, those are your number one Christians. They're more Christian than these so-called white people. But why isn't ICE in these people's neighborhoods and picking any of them up? Now, mind you, too, maybe like 2 weeks ago, FBI was just down the street in that neighborhood, same place, picking up on who? They picked up like about 5 Ishmaelites, Arabs, right? That was supposedly been, a matter of fact, that was Halloween. They're supposed to have been plotting a Halloween terrorist hit right down the street, same place, same city. They came in, right? You seen Cash Patel on TV. They came in, they grabbed those couple of guys. You ain't heard nothing about no deportation. You ain't heard nothing about no ICE. You ain't heard nothing about no ICE. Ain't no ICE. ICE is in Detroit right now. Ain't no ICE going to Dearborn. Ain't no ICE men in Dearborn talking about picking up none of those so-called Arabs, man. ICE not going there. But these are your number one enemies. These are the people that supposedly took down your buildings on 9/11. Trump just had Prince Salman or whatever the fuck his name is in the White House. I think it was yesterday. Right? So why isn't ICE running down on them? Aren't these the so-called number one terrorists in the world? Aren't these your number one enemies? Now, mind you, the people that you're picking up, the brown people that you're picking up, those are Christians. Those people believe hardcore in white Jesus. Now, they down the street now here, and you can damn near hear that bell from here. But these Islamic, they got a big ass Islamic spot down there where they ring that prayer bell every day. And you got white people fussing about it that do still live there. They're like, why the fucking bell, this loud ass bell ringing every day? But they got what, an Ishmaelite mayor. So there's nothing they can do about it. So this is what a lot of these clashes are about. But the point that I wanted to make is you got people that was in your country picking fruits and vegetables, doing cheap lawn care, doing cheap services, building porches and, doing shingles on the houses, real good with their hands, not charging the people very much, you know what I'm saying? They go to work, they get their little, cervezas or their little beers and they go home, they chill. And they, not loud people, because you let Trump and them tell it, these are the most violent people on the planet, right? So you running into schools, you picking up the babies from school, all kinds of shit. So you're deporting them, but these very people that's coming up in your cities, ringing their own prayer bells and shit like that. You clashing with them, but you're not deporting them. You're not bringing these. I'm telling you, you ain't about to see no ICE, man, in them neighborhoods. I already know that. Because if so, they would have been there already. They're not running up on the Chinese, So it says he didn't hide it. This is the mayor. It says he didn't hide it. He openly said he didn't want black people living in Dearborn. His legacy is a major reason Dearborn became a symbol of segregation in Michigan. And there you have it, man. So, again, this damn Edomite mailman about to walk up. Give me a sec. Let me see here. But this is it, man.
It's
play a little more.
City in Michigan. Over 110,000 people, incredibly diverse. We just had an event. Ford Motor Company is doubling down. Their global world headquarters is going to be in Dearborn, Michigan. We're a great small business city, city of entrepreneurs. And you come here and you hear things about Sharia law from outside. And we would laugh if it wasn't so ignorant. But it's just ridiculous to think that people come here thinking they're going to find something that is just preposterous, frankly.
Your father, the former mayor, wrote that open letter to that pastor 15 years ago. And you published that today on social media. In that letter, he basically said, because the Constitution allows for you to come protest here, you're permitted to do so, but we expect you to do it the right way. I thought that was a really interesting note from your father.
Okay, so you get the point, man. I'm not going to play too much more of that. I just the hypocrisy of Esau, man. The hypocrisy of even those Ishmaelites. I mean, but this shows you that we are the children of Israel, man. Because one of the, I was thinking, matter of fact, when all these millions of people supposedly had been coming through the borders, it was a bunch of them came through, and some of them was admittedly, somewhat of some terrorist cells, so to speak. Now you had this other guy that was just in the White House. I think they had like $10 million out on this guy for anybody that knew his whereabouts. Now, mind you, he's the number one terrorist that supposedly had killed a bunch of fucking Americans, and he was just in the White House in a damn suit and tie talking to Trump. Now he's the president of he's a leader of one of them fucking Muslim countries over there. So it's all just a bunch of bullshit, bro. That's how you know that the people that they're rounding up are the Israelites, because they're not rounding up their real enemies, man. So, I mean, it's a lot that plays into it. A lot of information, so much shit flowing through my head as I'm saying what I'm saying. But the hypocrisy of these people, man, is through the roof, man. But let me get one more script and we'll get out on it. And it's good for their asses, man. You damn Edomites, you're losing right now. And Trump, he's selling you down on the river, man. It's Rock 25:7. And it reads, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And that's what's going on, man. We're witnessing the fall of our enemy. Esau right here. And this is how you know civil war is on the brink. The Egyptian against the Egyptian is on the brink. You know what I'm saying? Because these so-called white people, they're losing, and they're seeing that they're losing, and they can see that they're fighting. They're pretty much being backed into a corner of despair. They can't really see things coming back like that for them. It's like they're really just, they're against the ropes, man. They have no choice but to really scrap back like how they scrapping back, and it's not going to work because now you done caught too many blows. This ass whooping city, you about to hit the ground. You about to hit the canvas, man. The referee about to be over. You waving his hands 3 times, man. He gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Your ass gonna finally get up, and you're gonna be wobbling and hit the goddamn canvas again. Like, and that's when the referee gonna go and throw the hands up of the real champions, man. The children of Israel, man. Because these prophecies is whooping you over the head. The Lord whooping you over the head. He about to send his son to whoop you over the head. And it's a done deal, man. So I'm going to end out there. I pray that the lesson was edifying with that. Kwame Yasha Allah and a Bible ball.